Novocaine is an action comedy starring Jack Quaid as Nathan Kane. He can't feel pain. That is the sort of concept of the movie. He's got a genetic disorder called SEPA, which allows him not to feel pain. So you'd think that'd be pretty cool, but in reality, he can hurt himself without knowing. So he can't feel hot or cold, so he's got to be careful about what he steps on, what he bumps into. It sort of dulls his whole life too, because he feels kind of like dreary and he doesn't have much of a purpose or joy in his life. But he meets someone at work named Sherry, who's a new employee, and they hit it off, and she seems to like him, so he decides to open up to her, and they sort of have a passionate night together. And this movie definitely surprised me because it's an action comedy thriller, but it spends the first 30 minutes developing the characters. So there's a lot more romance in this movie than I thought. It definitely felt like it was better than the movie Love Hurts, which came out earlier this year. That movie's supposed to have like a love sort of thing going on in it, but it's not really effective. This one definitely has more of an edge to it because it takes its time to develop the characters. Then it puts them in danger. Bank robbery happens and Sherry is taken hostage. The bank robbers are very violent and they end up killing a bunch of police officers. So with backup not able to show up, Nathan decides to become a vigilante, steal a cop car and a gun, and go and rescue his girlfriend before they, kill her after they, go to their little hideout or whatever. So this movie's very similar to other super violent vigilante action movies around the early 2010s. Stuff like Peppermint and the Equalizer movies, the John Wick movies, Colombiana, but they make this more of a everyman sort of comedy by having the main character be like a humble, normal guy. It has an edge with the whole SEPA thing, but it ends up being also a sort of a crutch for him too. When you get shot, you go, I need to like go see a doctor or get help, but he doesn't even notice, and it ends up being a really funny, not a one-note thing, because at least they have a solid cast of side characters to back him up. There's his friend Roscoe, a couple of bumbling detectives, and Ray Nicholson is in this movie. He made his debut in Smile 2 in a very small role. He gets to play an unhinged bank robber in this, and he does a really good job as a villain. The other villains don't have much character development. Most of that goes to Sherry and Nathan, and they're, since they spend so much time developing that relationship, it ends up adding, more emotional depth to the kind of threadbare story of just rescuing the girlfriend. And there's some nice little action beats in there too, little unique sort of things that sort of take the conventions of an action thriller and turn it on its head. So there is like a crazy chase sequence, but it ends up getting cut short. There's also like a fight scene involving like a tattoo artist guy that's really good. And there's also like a torture scene that's like done for comedic effect. So they sort of take certain things and play around with them for fun with this new concept. And it definitely has a lot of gory moments, grotesque moments, but it always has a light heart sort of romance at the heart of it. So really good performances and chemistry from the cast. Amber Midthunder is really good as Sherry. She's very sexy and really like charming and really distracting, to be honest, but she's great. And she was also in another movie called Opus and Prey from 2022. So, Novocaine's a lot of fun. It has solid character development, really good action sequences that are different from your usual action thriller. It's more of an action comedy, but it's definitely worth checking out, for sure. I really enjoyed this movie. I give Novocaine a 7 out of 10.